Hey, everybody, welcome back to the channel. Coach and Matt Rissman here, bringing you the latest news, the latest scoop on Star Wars and all the entertainment that we love. Today, we're looking at what is happening with the Star Wars Mandalorian movie. There's been a lot of news, there's been a lot of things happen lately, and a report came out today. This is breaking from our friend WDW Pro, who has given us many scoops over the years, and many have been proven correct. And I want you to know what Pro is reporting here about the Mandalorian movie, The Mandalorian and Grogu, talking about the movie that was announced on January the 9th, 8 days ago. January the 9th. They did it on a blog. They said, oh, yeah, it's not going to be the Rey movie next. It's going to be The Mandalorian and Grogu, and it's going to be directed by Jon Favreau. Well, one of the things, Matt, that people were nervous about was how involved Dave Filoni might be. It's just something that not every fan, but a lot of fans are nervous about that. How much influence he's going to have, how much control he's going to have, and that is exactly what we're looking at today. All right, everybody. So this again is coming from our friends over at That Park Place, WDW Pro. He reports the Mandalorian and Grogu movie new details. Dave Filoni likely taking over the script. And that is to the horror of many Star Wars fans. Now, there's some that's going to be glad. Some are going to say this is, reasonable. This isn't a surprise, but anyways, I'm going to skip kind of the beginning of it here. And he says, when Jon Favreau wrote seasons 3 and 4, they were never intended to be series finales. And Pro is told that the intention was that it was going to end. The entire series was going to end after season 5. He says now whether or not season 5 happens is anyone's guess, but season 3 was a significant letdown, and season 4 was supposed to be a series of semi-disconnected adventures for Din Djarin and Grogu. Think of it like a time for Din to really train Grogu in the ways of the Mandalorian before the adventures reach their climax in the years after. So how do you take that premise and turn it into the finale, into a leaping point for a trilogy of films that should all tie into Thrawn, Ahsoka, and other extremely disliked Dave Filoni projects across the Star Wars Mandoverse? And here's his answer. Well, you bring in Dave Filoni, of course. Here's what they're saying. The original scripts for season 4 will continue to be used for The Mandalorian season 4 episodes 1 through 6. That's not the movie, Matt. Right. That's they're going to release 6 episodes before the recently announced film. For the final 2 episodes, Dave Filoni will plus the treatments so that they are no longer just a season finale, but rather they are the beginning of the great theatrical drama that is Clone Wars and Rebels characters taking on Thrawn. That's apparently his Ahsoka movie. He's going to try to create some excitement and some buzz at the end in his Mandalorian movie that he is apparently writing, according to the scoop here. Whether any of those characters will show up in this movie, I do not know. I only believe, based on my conversations with those who have been privy to these things in the past, that it will at least set up all of that excitement. I also have spoken with one source who says that Disney very much wants to see Luke Skywalker at least make a cameo appearance in the movie. In the past, we have reported that Lucasfilm told merchandising partners that Luke Skywalker was cobwebbed. I still believe that to be the case, but they're happy to bring him back for a brief CGI appearance so they can market the character, sell toys, and try to draw back an audience for the first Star Wars film in many years. Failing with this one would be a huge setback for the entire franchise. If they are desperate, they may use him for more. It's expensive though, and not right now. Even this Star Wars project has Disney squeamish. Moreover, I'm told that Disney executives were likely not pleased with having to go this route. It's risky to modify a television season into a finale. So anyways, that is the news right there. Risman, do you believe that this scoop, that this leak might actually be happening? Is this a surprise to you at all? And what are the pros and the cons of this entire thing?
Yeah, this This to me, I don't find it particularly surprising. Right? The one thing that's always confused me specifically, even when we just thought it was going to be the Ray movie, the Mangold movie, and a Filoni movie, is just the different timelines all mishmash together
Mm,
theatrically while The Mandalorian was still running as a series on Disney Plus. How does it
yeah,
all fit together? Is it confusing? What do you need to know? What do you not need to know? How do you how do you do it in the right way that doesn't disenfranchise the people who have been with you, but also encourages other folks that may be more casually knowledgeable about Grogu and Mando and these characters to come out and experience this? And then how do you build momentum?
mm,
Right? And so for me, hearing this, it sounds like they're on that same page, right? What can we do to continue the story on Disney Plus? How
yeah,
can we then take something and make it theatrical and tie it into maybe the second season of Ahsoka, maybe right into another Mando movie? But how do we advance something in a way that makes that big bang, if you will,
yeah,
theatrically, and also adds connectivity to the broader universe? And I think it's Favreau and Filoni together.
right.
The one part of it that I'm not sure I'm 100% bought into is Filoni taking over the script entirely. I think we have evidence that it's best when Favreau and Filoni are buddied up, when there's
Mm,
some supervision there on both sides,
there's no doubt.
and they collaborate to bring us
So
great stories in the George Lucas, you know, environment.
when they did exactly what you said, when they're buddied up and they bounce off of each other, the whiteboard. They use the whiteboard. It's the whiteboard. It's the magic whiteboard. What was the product? What did they actually make when they were doing that? What was it?
They made the last episode of season 2 of Mandalorian, that's for sure.
Mandalorian's season 1 and 2,
Yeah.
which was, besides Andor, peak Disney Plus Star Wars.
I agree, and I think they would want to capitalize on that dynamic duo
Yeah.
for their re-entrance into the movie, right?
Yeah.
I believe 100% that they're nervous. Again, we can
Oh
just
yeah.
look at Disney's box office from
Oh yeah.
2023 more broadly,
Mm.
right? If it wasn't for James Cameron, who they just sort of inherit, right?
Yeah.
If you look back at, if it wasn't for Gunn and Cameron, right, bringing things with them that they were enabled to continue to make great, there's really nothing you look back at that says, okay, they had a good showing.
Yeah.
So they need this to be the best W it can be.
They do.
And I see it, right? I see them being able to do that together. I think it'll be the next movie, right? I
Well, I
personally,
mean, they basically reported that on the website. That's the official statement from Lucasfilm.
yeah.
They said that it will lead. It's the first, you know. So
Well, also I think you have to decide. There's so many things you have to decide about these stories, right? You have to decide that the blog is truthful. You have to also
yeah.
potentially buy into the fact that May 2026 is the next theatrical release.
Hmm.
Then maybe you also have to believe that there's a December 2026, because right now there is,
There is. There's a
right?
slot.
And then I think you have to then think about what is the way they make the best appeal of these characters, right? And not require people to have 4 seasons of homework
Yes.
from The Mandalorian more broadly to
Yeah.
still be able to come out and experience this and have a great time. Because that's another barrier to entry I see a lot of people bringing up now. It's like, well, you can't. What if people don't know these characters?
They
I'm
don't know
like,
a thing
well,
about them. Yeah. And
so
and
you have to.
ironically, season 3 wasn't about Mando at all or Grogu.
Yeah, tell me
The
about it.
Mandalorian changed. Just look at Rick Famuyiwa's comments, one of the executive producers. Bo-Katan is the Mandalorian. He said it. So and but then he goes back. Then he kind of backs that up. Din Djarin will always be the Mandalorian. Well, we are all the Jedi. We are all the Jedi.
And you know what? And if I was contributing to the story, which of course no one's going to ask you or I to contribute to the story, right? I'd bring Boba Fett back and have him kick ass. Right? I'd
100%.
bring Luke. I'd bring Boba Fett.
Now, don't you go doing things that the fans like, Matt.
But you know what? I'd bring my A-team. I'd
Yeah.
bring my A-team and I'd let them act as the A-team should act.
Yeah.
To move the story forward, to build excitement, and then keep the momentum going for your next movie.
All right, so here's the big risk. Look at what we got in season 3. Okay? Massive disappointment from the fans. And it just so happens that it was before season 3 began, where the fandom, for the most part, our side of it anyways, were like, the Book of Boba Fett was awful. Kenobi was awful. Finally, we're going to get back on track. Here comes Dave and John, chapter 17. Let's go. Ugh, what a miss. If they do 6 episodes of The Mandalorian before the movie, and season 3 continues, it's going to be devastating. Nobody's going. They have got to get it back on track from the first episode, chapter, what would it be now? 25.
And I have to tell you, there's some other reports come out today from folks who are normally in the know who have said they believe that the first 6 episodes, that what we're going to get for Mando season 4 is going to be Mando and Grogu on adventures, Mando teaching Grogu how to be a Mandalorian, how to bounty hunt, and that it's going to be very focused on tracking down Imperial Remnant and doing things on behalf of Carson Teva, as was sort of set up at the end of season 3. Right? The problem is that recipe doesn't necessarily make for a great theatrical experience unless you add a little meat to those bones, right? Unless they get to something at the very end that's like, all right, now they're Thrawn adjacent. Maybe they're after Pelion, right? Maybe, I don't know. But they're doing something at the very end that's very, okay, we've got there now through all this other stuff. Now we see, now it's become much clearer. Let's go.
Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to see. We're going to bring you the information. We're going to give you our opinions. And as always, we appreciate it when you give us yours. Let us know in the comments what you think about this apparent Dave Filoni taking over the story. Does that mean, is that good, bad? Who knows? You let us know in the comments what you think. As we always say here, we are, you are Echo Base Network. I'm Coach Fort Rissman. We'll see you guys on the next one.
Take care.
Me, Grimlock, say this good news.